like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Hi everybody, my name is Shakira Shanae and this is my first YouTube video. Basically, this video is all about Sephora and actually getting a job with Sephora. I've been at Sephora for just a little while now. I actually haven't been there a long time, but since I've been there, everybody wants to know how I got there, what were the steps that I took to get there, how was the interview process. A lot of people feel like it's so hard and it's a really hard process, but I promise you it really isn't. And I'm just going to give a few pointers on how I got there and the steps that I took. Basically, the whole interview process was pretty simple. It wasn't hard at all. My first interview was actually a group interview, and it was about, I would say, maybe 5 or 7 of us in the interview. That was actually my first group interview, so that part was a little nerve-wracking, just being able to answer the questions. You know, sometimes you want to answer first, and it's hard because you can't answer first because another person wants to answer first, and you feel like, was your answer up to par with everyone else's answer? But the truth of the matter is, your answer is a good answer. Don't worry about what everyone else is answering. Just do what you do. You know, be you. Don't try to be like anybody else, because they're actually looking at you individually amongst the group of women or men that's there. But some of the questions that were asked were, why Sephora? You know, why did you choose Sephora? What brought you here? What do you like about the company? What do you know about the company? Make sure that you know a little bit about Sephora. You don't have to be a Sephora guru and watch all their videos and do all of that, or shop there every weekend. You don't have to do that. But know a little bit about Sephora. What I did was I went on Sephora's website, their Sephora University website, so I knew a little bit about the company history. That's really good because if you're able to bring that up somehow, it looks really good. So I did that, and that was really good. They also want to know a little bit about you. The hardest interview question for me and for some of my friends, when I ask them, you know, what's the hardest interview question, is tell me about yourself. That's a hard question. It's an easy question, but it's hard because you want to sum up who you are in like a minute. So don't say, oh, well, I grew up in New York, and from New York, I moved to Georgia, and these are all the jobs that I've had and everything that I know how to do. Do not do that, because nobody has time to sit there and listen to your life history. When they say tell me about yourself, they pretty much want to know, like, tell me about yourself as it comes to Sephora. Like, you know, well, my name is Shakira. I started makeup when I was, here in my previous job. And from there, I learned a lot and I was able to take a lot from the company. You know, that's just a quick example. You know, talk about you as it pertains to the job that you're applying for, so they can see how well you're going to fit in there. Other questions that they asked were, in your previous jobs, tell me a time you went over and beyond for a customer. Think about that really good from now if you're going to apply, because I'm pretty sure they're going to ask you that. But think about that really well. You know, think about, what did you really do to help that customer? How did you go over and beyond for that customer? Sephora is truly about their customers and the customers' loyalty. They love their customers. They go over and beyond for their customers all the time, every day. So think about a time where you really went over and beyond for a customer at your previous job. Let's see, what else did they ask? They asked, tell about a time that you had a difficult situation at your previous job, and how did you handle that? They pretty much want to know how you are as an employee, as a person. How do you handle great situations? How do you handle situations that just suck? And just really think about that from now so that you have a good, clear answer. You don't want to just sit there and say, because someone else is going to raise their hand and get that question before you do. And someone, there's a group interview. They don't have time to wait for you to think of that time. So really think about it from now and know how you're going to answer that question. But yeah, so that was a group interview. It lasted probably about an hour or so. So that's how that worked. I got called back maybe 3 or 4 days after, and it was a one-on-one interview, and that was with one of the managers. And that was a really easy interview. It's just like every other interview. You sit there, you elaborate a little bit more on the questions I was asked from the group interview. They want to know a little bit more about you, about how you handle other situations. For example, the question that I was asked, where I believe all Sephora managers ask this question because it was read off like a somewhat of a handbook kind of thing. But that question was, how would you handle this scenario? If a customer came in and brought a fragrance, let's say they bought a Gucci perfume. As they were walking out the door, they got outside of the store, their bag fell and the fragrance pretty much broke. And they came back in the store. You did see it happen. They came back in the store and they told you that the fragrance just pretty much busted outside. How would you handle that situation? That's what they want to know. How would you go about that? For me, I said that I would take the fragrance back from them and then provide them with another fragrance. That was what they wanted to hear, and that was the correct answer. So that's just an inside scoop for you guys. If they ask you that, you replace the fragrance, you let them know that you apologize for what happened and not to worry about a thing, we'll take care of it, and you replace it. Customers are first there. They're first. So remember that. Don't say, well, I'm sorry, you broke the fragrance, there's nothing we can do. No, you replace it. I don't really remember all the other questions, but they were typical interview questions. Just be yourself. And just put your best foot forward. Another thing that they do is they do call your references. When you fill out applications for most jobs and there's a reference part, but most of the time they don't call them. They do call your references before you get hired. So make sure that you actually put people that is going to have your back and going to say good things about you. Your previous employers, your supervisors, your old managers, you put their name and make sure that they're going to say good things. They do I don't know if every Sephora will ask this, but my manager asked me, if I were to call one of your last employers, what would they say about you? Honestly, like, what would they say? Would they say they missed you? Would they say you were great? Would they say you worked really hard? Would they say you had a lot of weaknesses that you needed to work on? What would they say? So you want to make sure that for me, I told her some, my strengths and what I truly believe my previous employer would say. And he did say that. So thank you. Yeah, so he did say that when she called him. So you want to make sure, again, that your previous employers have good things to say about you. But pretty much I got called back the next day, and I started working maybe the week after that. It's a lot of training, and especially in the holidays, it's a really quick cram session. And if you want to know the best time to try to apply with Sephora, it's probably going to be the holiday season, because through the holiday season it's really busy and the store needs a lot of help. Other than the holiday season, I know most Sephoras have their employees already and they're not really looking for anyone else, but the holiday time is like the best time to really go in and ask. A tip for actually getting the application, you want to make sure that you dress really well when you ask for application, because they will be sizing you up like, okay, she's asking for application, okay. You also, what I did, and I think it's a really good idea, is ask for a manager first and ask the manager for application. That way they'll ask your name. They'll get the application to you. They'll kind of remember you by face. So if they're flipping through applications, they remember you than someone that they didn't see. So that's a really good tip is try to ask for a manager. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? Also, a really good idea, like when you get the application, don't get the application, go home, bring it back a week later. Like, try to fill out the application right then and there. Like, if the store is really slow, fill it out right in the store. They don't mind. Fill it out right in the store and hand it right back. Because for me, the manager was actually able to look over the application in front of me and kind of, get to know me a little bit, ask me a few questions on the application. And that was a really good, after that, I was like, okay, I think I got it in the bag with just that. Don't bring it home and then go like 2 weeks later. Like, don't do that. No one's gonna remember you. We see a ton of people every day. So if you really want to get a job at Sephora, just do it the same day. If the store is really packed, then go to the food court or something, go fill it out and bring it back. Don't try to fill it out in the store if it's really packed, because that's just going to annoy the employees working there, because you're just going to be taking up space. But just, try to fill it out if you can. If you don't have time, go the next day. It's not that big of a deal. But for me, I just think that it really helped, and it was a good gesture on my part. So that's pretty much all I have. If you have any more questions that I didn't address, if you want to know any more tips or anything like that, just comment below, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. I really wish all of you guys luck. Sephora is an amazing, amazing company to work for. I honestly don't see myself anywhere else currently, and I love all the people that I work with. They're so sweet. And I really, really love it. So I wish all you guys luck in getting a position with the company. It's truly an amazing experience. So if you have anything that I didn't cover that you want to know, just comment below, and I promise I'll answer your question. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.